As I love to joke to some of my conservative friends, it took a liberal Marin County government guy to create some competition in the marketplace for electric power. Ironies never cease. So I guess we can go ahead and start. There are three huge advantages that we have that a monopoly does not have. One is monopolies have to pay a return to their shareholders. So compared to that issue, where it costs zero, there it costs probably 6%, 7% rate of return on capital. The second advantage is we don't pay taxes. We're a nonprofit government agency, so we don't pay taxes. That's worth another 3 or 4 basis points. And then the third advantage is we right now, and it's a little disingenuous to claim this will last very long, but we have 2.5 employees. They have 20,000 employees. If you get a letter from a PG&E lawyer, they've got 150 names on the legal letterhead of the legal department. Some people joke that this company is a law firm that happens to do a little energy on the side. I could not, I'm sad to say, I couldn't convince PG&E to be our broker. They decided it was cheaper to try to crush us. And they are trying everything they can do to drive my agency into bankruptcy so that I'm destroyed politically and the issue is discredited. They're not going to succeed. We now know that in 15 months we will pay off all of our startup debts and we'll be a debt-free agency, not charging one extra dime to our ratepayers. So I think you too, Boulder of all places, ought to rethink coal. It could indeed cost you more. Leslie says, nope, it doesn't even have to cost you more. That's the analytical battle you would have in front of you to work with the city council, to talk to Excel about getting, hey, give us some escalating share of renewables in our mix. Let us phase away from the coal-fired electricity. Whatever it is you can ask for, I think you're better off at least asking. At the end of the day, we were better off going straight to the market. I couldn't believe it at first. And we went to the market, and lo and behold, we got 78% renewable power at better prices. So I don't know who was right there, but I got a hunch the proof's in the power. It has been a horrible and vicious experience to go through this. I told Jane Brodigan, the city manager today, you've got to be ready for a very, very rough experience. The reason why corporations do this is because we let them. America has forgotten a lot of its critical thinking skills, such that the most vicious opponents to Marin Clean Energy are citizens who will write me an email saying, how dare you interfere with the free market? And I consider it my civic duty to write back politely and say, since when is a monopoly a free market? Right on. What we have failed to see is the Trojan horse of that ability to lie with impunity onto the airwaves and into our product marketing campaigns from the very corporations we depend on for our jobs. It is absolutely pernicious and potentially lethal. So people love PG&E, the greenest utility, and they have spent $10 million in Marin alone to destroy Marin Clean Energy. Why? Because they can. We just passed as a board a bunch of great incentives for net metering, as we call it in California. If you can build a solar system and generate too much power, more than you need, we'll buy all the extra power from you. We'll pay retail rates at time of day, and we'll cash you out every month. So we just launched our new net metering program to provide incentives for the citizens to build their solar too big and sell us the extra for the benefit of other Marin County citizens. One of the concepts I really like from an economic perspective is, gee whiz, wouldn't it be nice to pay ourselves to generate the power that we use instead of outsourcing all that funding to a corporate boardroom in San Francisco? What we found in our 5 years of researching this concept was, on average, municipal utility customers in California enjoy rates that are about 20% lower, and they have sometimes double the amount of renewable power. And that was a very telling statistic that was coming out of our research that suggested there may be a better way to do business. And maybe if we can get to the marketplace and let the marketplace respond to a request for proposal, maybe the marketplace will deliver better rates and greener power. Who knows? Back in 2003 to 2008, it was an abstract argument of one expert versus another. And it was a he said, she said, and we were arguing on the basis of research and analytics and hypotheses rather than a market-based bid. Today, I get to tell you that the proof's in the power, and that's the greatest news of all. The good news, though, is over time, we are extremely confident that we lucked out in a couple ways. Over the last 50 years, PG&E rates for generation have gone up about 3.4% per year in, year out, for 50 straight years. But the great news is our business plan forecasting suggests that we will not only be 100% renewable in 6 years, all that power will be cheaper than our competitor. So in about 6 years, we plan to provide 100% renewable power at cheaper prices, and we won't need those two products anymore. Everybody will be deep green, and will still be cheaper. We're very, very excited about that. So at first, we're going to get our power outside Marin County, but then our program is to provide a minimum of 40% of our load from intra-county sources in the next 5 years. Over the next 20 years, we not only plan to be 100% renewable, we also plan to be 100% local. One of the big problems we're having in California, and I know you're having in Colorado, is the old 1950s vision of utility economics and utility technology was big centralized plants with long transmission lines. Instead, the future holds a vision of greatly distributed power generation on a more robust grid that's more like the internet. It's a bunch of local area networks patched together instead of long lines that are easy to cause problems with. So I haven't even told you the best part. We've talked about an $85 million revenue stream that's going to come through Marin County instead of going outsourced in those bills to the city. We still pay the same bill, but that $85 million comes through Marin. And on that $85 million, we'll generate about a $5 million operating margin every year that we can use to drive into renewable energy projects, energy efficiency programs, and good things in our own county. And we estimate that an $85 million revenue stream brought local eventually is worth about $1 billion in local economic vitality. In the energy, in the renewable energy marketplace, creating new businesses in Marin, we actually think an economic multiplier of 12 to 13 is more relevant. So an $85 million business that generates or spends some money in or near our economy of Marin translates into $1 billion of new economic vitality for the region. And so the fact that Marin exists has launched this cascade of entrepreneurship and venture investment in a marketplace that was starving to death. And so what we believe is that the marketplace of ideas, Boulder by Boulder, Denver, Marin, smaller little chunks relocalized, will start to move an intellectual cascade across the country because people will see that Marin could do it, Boulder could do it, San Francisco could do it, and so on, and the generators can scale up at about the same pace that we all start implementing little CCAs. So it's been a long 8 years, and a lot of people have asked me, Charles, why do you do this? And I just respond, because at a time when people needed something real to happen, we stepped up and did it. We'll never have to look our grandkids in the eye and say we were afraid when courage was needed. Thank you.